You wouldn't tolerate a business that stopped growing, lost connection with its mission, or only existed on paper. So why are you letting that happen to your marriage? And maybe the bigger question, why are you letting your marriage be the proverbial millstone around your business's neck, dragging it all the way down to the bottom of the ocean? You've got SOPs for your business, metrics for team performance, systems for scalability, but no strategy for your marriage. Behind the success in business, silence, surface level connection, or emotional distance at home. The craziest part to me is that having an extremely successful marriage will lead to far more success in business. Yet most men are missing this key growth hack. In this episode today, you're going to walk away with three key things. One, a clear way to audit the real health of your marriage, not just what looks good from the outside. Two, the truth behind why business often becomes a distraction from home. And three, a practical framework to start rebuilding the marriage you know you're called to lead without shame, without pressure, and without fluff. So let's go.
Men of greatness, rise and stand tall.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Unlocking Greatness. My goal is to equip Christian high-performing men with the ability to achieve all that God has created for them. Ultimately, that level of greatness. As business leaders, as husbands, as fathers, as contributors and influencers in the community. I want to help you be the best that you can possibly be. And today we are talking about how to do that with our marriage and the impacts that our marriage, or the lack thereof our marriage, is having on our business. Look, there is this drift that I see too often with high performers in their marriage. Most founders, most entrepreneurs begin to go numb personally when they start focusing too much professionally. And I get it. I understand that business leadership, whether you're the founder, you're now the owner, you're an entrepreneur, I get it. It takes so much energy and effort, money, sacrifice, but not at the expense of something that's far more important. And by the way, as I said in the intro, is going to either help or hinder your ability to grow that business anyway. This drift shows up in so many different ways, but what I hear most men say are things like, my marriage is good. We don't fight. I mean, we're busy in this season of life, but we're fine. What's actually happening is you are living two parallel lives. Busy, maybe efficient, transactional. You're running the business. Your wife's taking care of the kids. You're focused traveling for work. She's back at home making sure everything is staying together. I see too many married couples that are talking a lot, but it's all about transaction. You're managing each other's calendars, making sure the kids are getting to the places that they need to go, that the bills are being paid. I also know that for so many of you, the intimacy in your relationship is rare, if not non-existent, because your connection is shallow. If you are not, and as long as you're physically able to do this, if you are not having sex with your spouse, with your wife, 2 to 3 times a week, every single week, something is off. Something is very, very off. And yet I hear this and see this all of the time. Obviously, there's extenuating circumstances with that, but that can be a key indicator that you are in a transaction, you are in a friendship, you are in a partnership, you're not in a marriage. Look, you did not get married simply to manage life together. You got married to build something deeper than transaction, deeper than interaction, deeper than business. I know that's not why you sought out to marry your wife, was just to keep building a business, for her to help you build the business. It had to be so much more. I remember the season of life that I was in like this, but I shared recently on another podcast, and I'm just going to lightly touch on this again in case you didn't hear it. I think it was 2 or 3 episodes ago that I recently had a conversation with a guy. He'd read my book. I didn't know him, but he found my book somehow, maybe through somebody else, read it. He reaches out to me via email. We end up meeting up at a conference, and he began sharing with me that he was in this incredible professional season of life. He had found and exited 2 companies, was on the midst of launching the third, or in the midst of launching the third. He was doing really well financially. And one day, seemingly out of the blue, his wife came to him and wanted a divorce. And what's so fascinating was that while he definitely recognized it in hindsight, he really didn't get it in the moment at all. He didn't see it coming. But when I talked to his son, who is now in his mid-20s and on his own journey to success professionally and just about to get married himself, he says he hated his dad during that time. He despised of his dad during that time because his dad was absent. Now, his son, this kid, is reaping the rewards of his dad's hard work that actually fell apart to some degree, but he was benefiting from it, and yet he still despised his dad so much because his dad was just absent from the family. And his wife divorced him. Just couldn't take it anymore. He'd find out later that during that season leading up to divorce, his wife actually cheated on him multiple times. Now, I don't condone infidelity at all, but I can understand. I can understand why she had to go somewhere else. He wasn't around. Look at our quest as high performers to build successful businesses oftentimes gets the best of us. And when it does, home gets the rest of us. And I understand why this happens. You see, business rewards effort. Business is built around metrics, KPIs. Marriage doesn't. Marriage isn't built around those things. It's hard to measure success in marriage. And so what we end up seeing is that the lack of a high performance marriage is usually just emptiness. It's nothingness. It just exists. And again, you would never, ever accept that professionally, but for some reason you do personally. At work, your business is getting the best of you in the way you lead, in the way you make decisions, in how you gain affirmation. At home, you feel unsure, you feel unqualified, maybe you even feel unseen. You don't feel like your spouse is getting you. She just doesn't understand. So what does that do? That causes you then to lean farther into your business because you can see your leadership bearing fruit. You're able to make decisions and you feel like you've earned the right to do so. And you're gaining affirmation, which, by the way, is one of the reasons why you see adultery and affairs happen in the workplace, is because we start to couple our professional affirmation with the people that are around us. And when a female is around us affirming the job well done, we start to attach personal affirmation to her as well. And before long, we're down a rabbit hole where we're saying that we're getting affirmation from the women that we work around and work with, but we don't get it from the wife that we live with. But here's the reality. Here's the hard truth that this guy I talked to had to face, that I had to face, and so many men that I coach, so many men in our Men of Greatness community at large, men at church. This is a hard truth that so many of them face. You don't give to your marriage the things that you give to your business because deep down, you don't know how to. And you're afraid to admit it. You are a badass in business and you are a pussy in your marriage. I just don't know any other way to say it. By God's grace, again, when I got married, I loved my wife so much. She was my best friend. I was very attracted to her. I mean, we were on fire. But before long, we started to have challenges. And yet in business, I just kept growing and growing and growing. And that would lead to near catastrophe in our marriage. We came to faith. We started to rebuild our marriage. And then one of the things that I learned that became so key for me was to show up at home on purpose the way I was showing up at work on purpose. I mean, dude, I got up out of bed every single day and I went to war to be number one on the sales leaderboard, to make as much money as possible. I mean, there was not a single client or prospect that I was willing to accept rejection from. I was focused and on fire. And I was not initially giving that same fervor to my business. I mean, to my marriage. I was slow playing things. I was a little bit coy. I wasn't as intentional. And one of the simplest things that one pastor shared with me that just floored me was, he said, every time you think of your wife in a positive way, I want you to tell her. When you walk by and you think her booty looks good, tell her. When she comes out of the shower and she's looking hot and you want to get after it, tell her. When she's made a great dinner, tell her. When you're happy or appreciative of something she's done, tell her. And so I started doing that for Michelle. And it wasn't long before Michelle thought I was weird AF because she wasn't used to that stuff. But when I explained to her, I told her the truth. I said, Pastor Mark said that this is something that I should be doing. And she's like, well, are you just saying that to say? I'm like, no. These are things that I feel inside, but I'm like slow playing. I'm keeping to myself. And I needed to be more intentional. And so she's like, oh, okay. And then she started to really like it. And as the result of her being, of me being overly complimentary to her and just brutally honest, she started to do the same for me. She felt pursued, and then she was pursuing me. She felt like I didn't just want to get into bed with her, but she wanted to get into bed with me because she saw how much I was pursuing her. She wanted to spend more time with me. She wanted to engage with me. It was crazy how my intentionality ended up benefiting me in so many ways. It just didn't make my marriage, quote unquote, better. It made everything about my marriage better, and it all benefited me. I mean, isn't that what you're after? If you're not, I don't know why you got married in the first place. I want my marriage to crush it more than I want my business to crush it. I want my marriage to be successful in ways that I want my business to be successful. I want to be thought of higher by my wife than I do by my clients and colleagues. I want to be a high performance husband more than, not even as much as, more than I want to be a high performance coach. So I want to offer something to you. If you want to just take that tip that I gave you around what Pastor Mark shared with me, you could do that. And I suggest to every guy that I talk to do that. It's worth its weight in gold. But what I want to share with you is this founder marriage audit for you as a founder, for you as an entrepreneur, for you as a man of greatness. I feel like you have an opportunity to audit your marriage. So 5 questions that you can ask, and then one point of reflection. So five questions that you can ask, a point of reflection, and then I'm going to lay out kind of a framework from that you can start to create more intentionality around what you're doing. Okay, so this Man of Greatness Founder Audit. You audit everything in your business. Why not start auditing everything in your marriage with these 5 questions? Number 1, when was the last time I pursued her like I did before she said yes? Before you got married, probably you were trying really hard to land your wife as your girlfriend. You were trying to impress her, open doors for her, take her out to nice places, take her on trips, buy her things. And then all of a sudden you got her and you just slowed down. When was the last time you pursued her like you did then? Question number 2. Do I know what she's carrying right now emotionally or spiritually? Are you asking your wife how she's doing and then shutting up long enough to listen? Look, I am the talker in my marriage. Shouldn't be a surprise. I am the visionary in life. I just think really big, long, crazy stuff. My wife is very much about really living in the moment. I envy so much of the way my wife lives like that. So I'm always talking about future ideas, what's next, business strategy. And I, for the longest time, wasn't just taking time to sit and listen to what my wife was dealing with. We were in Palm Desert at this bomb pool for my wife's birthday, just she and I one day. And we got into this question or this discussion around vision. And I was sharing with her my vision. And she was asking me why. And it was really excited. And, she's affirming me and wanting to be on board. And then I was like, oh, well, what do you want? And she shared some things with me that I'd never heard her say before. And we'd already been married like 19 years. I was like, oh my gosh. So now we engage in that conversation every single night, or every single time that we're out together. Usually once or twice a week, we go out by ourselves. We were just at dinner last night and we got into this conversation about what God's doing, how we're feeling about that. Anyway, so that's super helpful. Question number 3. When was the last time we laughed? Like really, really laughed together? If I close my eyes right now, I picture pretty much every night, Michelle and I sit on the couch. I sit right in the middle of the TV. I'm like just very OCD about it, but with my legs angled a little bit to the left on the ottoman, stretched out. And then Michelle sits in the corner to the left of me on the couch, but she's facing her feet to the right. She puts her feet up over the top of me. And I just picture recently watching fail videos on YouTube and just watching her laugh. And oh my gosh, she was laughing so hard and I was laughing hard, and then her laughing made me laugh even more. That brings me so much joy. I love to watch my beautiful wife laugh hard. It just creates so much levity in such a heavy world. Question number 4. Have I created intentional space just for us outside of parenting or schedules? Look, I empathize with you, parents of young children. It's really hard to get away, but you can find time. Ask family, ask a friend, hire a babysitter, spend time regularly. I would encourage weekly. For some of you, you can't live in that rhythm right now. Bi-weekly, monthly. Take her out. Shoot, take her out to, no, don't go to Taco Bell. Take her out to a cheap meal, an expensive meal. Go walk. Some of the best times my wife and I have are we live on a 1-mile loop. And sometimes we just go out and walk in the evening and just talk. Yes. Cast vision. That's so dope. Question number 5. Would she say, I lead our home the way I lead my business? This is a big one. I'll bet you your wife looks up to you. Your wife is proud of you and impressed by how you carry yourself professionally, by the way your clients talk about you. She's really proud of what you've done professionally. But if you're not leading that way at home, inside, she's really sad that you're not intentional with her in the way you're intentional with your business. And you guys, we have such an incredible opportunity, but we have to be intentional with it. Those 5 questions are not there to shame you. They are there to wake you up. You know, you don't understand the health of your business until you look at the finances, until you look at a P&L. Hopefully it's all in order. I work with a great bookkeeper, and every month she sends me a financial report on cash flow projections, and it's always great to see when I'm progressing in the right direction. It's not good when I'm progressing in the wrong, but I always have insight into how my business is doing financially. It's just not about the fact that, oh yeah, I have clients and revenues coming in. Same thing here. Do you have insight? Are you regularly checking in with yourself, with your wife? I share all these things with my mastermind, and they give me reflections back on how they think I'm doing, and they're asking me questions and leaning into me to push me to be better for Michelle. You can do the same thing. This is all this audit is all part of this greater framework. You know, I talk a lot about the 5 pillars of greatness. Um, I talk about our faith, our relationships, our health, our finances and stewardship, and then finally our business. And the second pillar of the 5 pillars is covenant connections. And we need to understand how these all work together, either for good or for bad. We shouldn't just be crushing it in how we lead professionally. We should be striving to crush it in all 5 areas, knowing that a rising tide rises all ships. And so if we're doing better in one, we should be striving to do better in another, knowing that they're all going to lift each other up. The reason why we call it covenant connections in the 5 pillars is because marriage isn't a partnership. This is not a formal agreement that you enter into, and you are contractually obligated to do things for each other. You're contractually obligated to share things. You're contractually obligated to split things. Marriage is a covenant rooted in sacrificial love, fueled by intentional pursuit, and protected by alignment with God's mission for your and her life. When we see marriage as a covenant, we take it far more seriously. We invest in it far more deeply, and we reap fruit far more greatly. I looked Michelle in the eyes last night and I said to her, that as long as my faith in God and my relationship with her are at the place they are or better, my life is forever fulfilled. I want to build a much bigger business. I mean, that was at the tail end, by the way, of me sharing with her this vision that is like bursting inside of me to start creating some greater opportunities for impact, specifically in the Men of Greatness arena. But then I was talking to her about a business endeavor I have with our sales operating system. And I was talking about some personal stuff that I'm thinking about. Sharing all that with her, and she's excited and fired up for me. But I'm like, but babe, I don't think you get it. For the first time in my life, that's been progressively growing like this for the last 6 months, for the first 7 months now, for the first time in my life, I can honestly say that so long as my faith in God is what it is today, and my relationship with you is what it is today, I will forever be fulfilled. And the look on her face, I didn't say that to make her feel good. I was sharing what was on my heart. Out of an abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, Proverbs says. As I felt that and shared that, I could see how grateful she was for that. That's the type of husband she wants to be married to. And damn it, that is the type of husband she deserves to be married to. God first, wife second. If you feel a gap, I talk about closing the gap all the time. If you feel this gap in your God-aligned purpose, God-aligned pursuit between who you want to be as a man, who God is calling you to be as a man, and where you are right now, this is your opportunity to stop pretending and start leading with courage, grow some balls, and do something about it. Have the same intentionality in your marriage as you do in your business. And by the way, you're probably not doing, if you're not doing great in this right now, you're going to have to eat some crow. You're going to have to go repent to your wife. You're going to have to apologize. You're going to have to let her know that you've been missing the mark. And if you have been missing the mark for a while, she's going to question your intentions. You know, I've been working with this guy that was at one of the retreats I hosted months back. And man, his marriage is in a bad spot. 14 years, that thing has been going downhill. And he committed to wanting change. He committed his life to Christ at the retreat, which was insanely amazing. And he committed to pursuing his wife in a whole new way. I mean, he was sharing. It had been like 16 months since he had sex with his wife. Like he was in a bad way, which was causing him to make all kinds of really bad decisions, right? And so he's like, no, Ryan, like I'm in. I'm all in. So we leave the retreat. I've been checking on him. And a couple weeks ago, I texted him. I'm like, hey, bro, how's it going? And he's like, it's the worst it's ever been. I'm like, well, you were doing good. Like, what happened? Well, what happened was this. He blew up. And his wife pointed her finger right at him and said, see, I knew it. I knew this was short-lived. And he said, and she's right. I can't do this. And I said, no. With God, all things are possible, buddy. I said, put your faith fully in the Lord, trust in him. I said, and then give everything you can to your wife. Giving yourself grace and having the courage to screw up and showing her that when you blow up in the way that you did, that you are going to immediately repent and you're going to change your behavior. Okay, 14 years down into the pit means it could be 14 years back out. You see, we want 14 years into the pit, 14 minutes out. And it just doesn't work like that 99.9% of the time. You have to have the courage to continue to fight when your wife looks at you in the face and says, you are fake. You are not going to stick with this. I've been down this road before with you. And you are going to say to her, you are right. I have showed you time and time again that I am not worthy of your forgiveness. But I will do everything I can to build up the trust in you that is necessary to show you that I'm going to give you everything I have. I will never be perfect, but I will be far better than I am right now. And by the grace of God, you will. But it takes courage to eat it. For you high performers that are crushing it in business, this is why this is a hard pill to swallow, because you're like, I'm amazing. And you can't accept that in one area you're coming up short, maybe more than one. My encouragement to you is to take that marriage audit, ask each one of those questions, think of them and the answers and feedback you're going to get from them through the lens of that covenant connection, meaning you are in a covenant with your wife, rooted in sacrificial love, fueled by intentional pursuit, protected by alignment with God's purpose for your life. You are going to think through that framework. You're going to understand that you're living in this gap between who you want to be, who God has created you to be, and who you are right now. There's a long way to go to close it, but you are fully committed to closing that gap. And take some time to yourself to just reflect on that exercise. Look at guilt and shame can be a good thing, because when we feel guilty and ashamed of coming up short in our marriage, that is what will cause us to be honest about where we've come up short, to be honest about what's possible, to be honest about the man that we can be. And as I said at the beginning of this, if you fully commit to your wife, fully commit to your marriage in the way that you're committed to your business will explode. You will see far more success. You have my word. I have seen this time and time again. An unhealthy marriage destroys businesses. A healthy marriage builds them. Come on. You can do this. And then, if you've got a really big set on you, go to your wife and look her in the face and ask her this one question. How can I love you better? No matter how good you're doing, whether you're a 1 or a 9 right now, how can I love you better, babe? What can I do to better serve you? Look, man, you are not the only one. You are not the only one. I've talked to 2, 3, 4 guys this week alone that are in this space right now. And I'm trying to find ways to bring you guys together. I'm rebirthing an opportunity for community for men, both virtually and in person, thinking through what that's going to look like. If you feel like you're the only one, if you don't have anybody else, I want you to reach out to me. DM me, send me an email, and let's hop on a phone call and I'll talk with you. I'll listen to you and I'll offer you any bit of advice and guidance that I can. No obligation whatsoever from you other than to show up on that. If you have some other buddies that you think need this, share this with them. You guys, this message needs to go far and wide. This problem is never going away. We have an opportunity to be change makers. We have an opportunity to shift the culture, to be high-performing men in all area of life, to truly be men of greatness. Question is are you willing to do what it takes? And from this, next week, we're going to be talking about how to lead your wife spiritually, even if you've never done that before. I'm going to be sharing with you the launch of a new men's Bible study that I'm going to be doing virtually. That may be a way to help you with that. You may not be ready to lead your wife spiritually yet, and maybe you need to be equipped a little bit more. I think that this Bible study is going to help do that. We're going to be working through the book of Proverbs. More to come on that, and that will come later in September. But you guys, I'm on fire. This is burning deep, deep in my soul. I want to produce as many men of greatness as humanly possible. To build bigger businesses, to build more incredible marriages, to lead more incredible families, to influence and impact communities. We will be men of greatness together if we are fully committed to it. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. If you need anything from me, if you have anything for me, hit me up. Until next time, peace.